Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my sexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, so subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So, in this episode, I want to discuss with you how to make self-improvements in your asexual life and why it's so important to make self-improvements in your asexual life. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stay tuned. But if you don't know who I am, I'm Sandra Bellamy. I'm an asexual author, speaker, and coach, and these are my best-selling asexual books, which are both out on Amazon. One is Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life, and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. And this is a great guide for anyone who is new to asexuality, wants to understand the asexual spectrum more and how love, life, and sex works for asexuals. And this Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life, takes you on a journey of self-discovery and gives you insights and tools and techniques on how to sharpen your bullshit detector when you're doing dating and relationships and so much more. So go and grab a copy of that. But throws on Amazon. So back to today's episode. Why it's important to make self-improvements and how you do that. So first of all, what is self-improvement? Self-improvement, pretty obviously, is making improvements to yourself. But in order to do that, you have to have an awareness that you need to improve things about yourself in the first place. If you think you're perfect, if you think you know everything, then you're not going to want to improve yourself because you're thinking you're amazing. There's no improvements you need to make, and therefore you won't look to improve yourself. Sometimes we naturally self-improve, for example, through a job. We might do a job and we might learn new skills in that job, have new experiences that give us new insights that automatically improves ourself. But in general, self-improvement is the ability to see where you need to improve yourself within multiple aspects of your life. And then you commit to taking the action to make those improvements, increment by increment, goal by goal. So you need to be exploring yourself, bring awareness to yourself and what your weaknesses and your strengths are. So a great exercise to do is to actually get a journal, a book, or even just some paper and write down what you believe are your weaknesses and what you believe are your strengths. Now, in life, we do need to play to our strengths a lot rather than focusing on our weaknesses because we need to be happy in our life. And one of the ways we be happy in our life is to focus on the things we're good at, the things we're strong in. And self-improvement is not just about improving weak areas, it's about improving your strong areas so you can get stronger and more confident and have more competency in those areas. So, in something that we excel at, we can actually excel more at. So, for example, if you learn how to use a software program for your computer, there are going to be other levels to that software, usually more in-depth knowledge, insight, and skills you need to learn. So, though you might be very good at it, you might need to master it on another level. Now, that might mean that you do more training on the software itself, or you add other softwares to that software as an add-on and you learn how to use them together. It might be that you have a software that you know the basics really well of, but you haven't looked at the advanced features and you don't know how to use those advanced features very well. So these are things that you can improve on. So self-improvement can be skills and things you're learning in your life that's outside of you, that's to do with some job or some, technical skill, but we can also look to improve ourselves on what they call soft skills. This is our communication skills. This is our non-verbal communication skills, reading body language. This is learning things like empathy and sympathy and kindness and compassion. Now, you might think they are just character traits of many people, but a lot of people have been brought up in ways which have caused trauma to them, which enables them to have unhealthy behavioral patterns, some of which are toxic. Now, unless we're aware of the fact that this is the case, we cannot improve ourselves in these areas if we are just oblivious to this and we're doing the best we can to get by in our life, right? But when we become aware that, oh, we might have some toxic behaviors ourselves due to past trauma, then we need to be able to see that and develop a plan of working on that to correct it. So, for example, in yesterday's live stream, I was actually talking about sarcasm being a toxic trait. And it is one of the signs of a narcissist, right? It doesn't mean to say everyone that's sarcastic is narcissistic, but it is one of the signs, but it's usually very toxic. And the reason why it is, as someone pointed out in chat yesterday, it is a passive aggressive behavior, right? That should give you a big clue. Passive aggressive, aggressive is not a good thing. And being passive is not a good thing either. I learned recently that not having difficult conversations and avoiding them is toxic behavior. This is something I've been working on this year within myself that I didn't even realize is a toxic behavior. I've naturally started working on it because I'm like, oh, I need to work on that. And I have attracted guys that haven't been suitable for me. So this year I joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. Matthew Hussey is the world's #1 dating and confidence coach. He's had 17 years experience, been all over TV, the media and everything. He's very well known. So I'm in his private Love Life Club membership. I get coaching with him and his wife and brother regularly in group coaching, not just one-to-one, but group coaching. You can get one-to-one within a group, if you know what I mean. And I've also got courses with him and lots of other stuff. I saw him in person. Matthew AI is like the 24-hour AI love coach with Matthew's brain inside the software. And so it's really incredible. And I decided that I need to improve myself because I keep attracting guys that end up not being a good guy for me. And I'm like, what's going on with that? There must be something that's happening within me that's meaning I'm ending up in these situations with these guys. So this means I need to self-improve. So people that are not interested in self-improvement, they don't see they've done anything wrong in a relationship. They think they're all great, won't do any self-improvement. But one of the reasons why it's good to self-improve is to realize that you are not perfect. You are not a know-it-all. You are not right about everything. There's things that you need to learn. There's things that you could do better. There's things you could say better. We all could do that, including me, right? So we have to take ultimate responsibility for our own life and the way we are showing up in it. And the reason it's important to self-improve is because with self-improvement, we become more self-aware. When we become more self-aware, it means we can improve our relationships with others and the way we show up in our life and who we let into our life and keep in our life. It means that, are you not ever going to screw up again? Yes, people do screw up. I might screw up again, right? I might even screw up again in a guy I date or end up in a relationship with. But I'm not perfect. I don't want that to happen to me, but it could happen, right? So I'm not perfect. I have to improve myself all the time. And with self-improvement, sometimes if you've had a bad relationship in your life that might have lasted 7 years, like I had one that lasted a total of 8.5 years, then you might have had relationships that last just a number of months or a number of weeks. Now, You could look as though, oh, I'm not improving because I'm still attracting guys that are not good for me. But if you look at the time you allowed yourself to stay in that relationship compared to now, how long you allow yourself to stay in it, which is probably a lot shorter in time, you have made improvements. So improvements are not an overnight thing. They don't just happen like that. We have to make them happen. We have to do things in our life and within ourselves and for ourselves to make change happen and make it stick. But once we've done that, it helps grow our confidence more, helps upskill us to another level. If you think of yourself in your life as in levels, think of yourself as going through levels of intelligence, levels of skills, levels of knowledge, and levels of experience. This is called leveling up. You might have heard the term. I'm leveling up. It means you're leveling yourself up. You're becoming a different level of intelligence and profound insights about yourself and your life that you weren't before. And in life, we have to build. It's like a self-improvement ladder. A lot of this is not seen. It's no one gets a piece of paper usually and goes, hey, this is a self-improvement ladder. But you can do that. You can build your own self-improvement ladder, but you'll probably be like using years and years of paper, like streams of it, right? But it's kind of a thing that you know in your mind, and you know when you're at the next level because you've made so much distinct improvement and changes within yourself in your life, but you don't really necessarily put it down on paper. But a good idea is to flesh things out on paper as to what your goals are for changing yourself and improving yourself, or at least have it in your own mind. And the reason we need to continually self-improve is it helps motivate us to live a passionate life. Right? I come across people because I'm mixing with different people now because I'm going to different meetup groups, and I'm coming across people that are bored in their life. They're not motivated in their life, right? And they look at me and they're like thinking, how is she motivated? I've got this on my Facebook as well. Like, how is she motivated? Right? I'm motivated because I want to grow, develop, and change myself to become the next best level of myself. There is always something I can do to improve myself. And when you've got a driving force where you know you can get new skills and do things you never felt possible previously in years of your life, it gives you that motivation and drive to do more with your life. And this helps you grow in self-esteem and confidence, not be bored in your life. If you are a person that for years of your life has done like a 9-to-5 job, come home, slumped in front of the TV, and that's basically been your life, whether it's for a number of years or for a number of months, and you are fed up and bored with your life, I encourage you to get into self-improvement, because what happens when you're bored of your life, you're looking outside of yourself for external sources of inspiration and things to do. When actually what you should be doing is thinking, how can I internally improve myself so I can show up in the world as a greater force of your beauty, as a greater life force with more skills, more knowledge, more insights, more wisdom to grow yourself and do things you never felt possible. Because once you start doing things that you never thought you could achieve in your life, you'll start doing more and more things. You'll be motivated because you're internally motivated. You're intrinsically motivated. But too many people looking outside of themselves for inspiration and motivation. It's okay to look. If you're feeling, find it hard to get started on something, you're procrastinating. Yes, it is okay to like watch a video on YouTube for some motivation or inspiration. But that motivation, inspiration should then be to reflect back at yourself and use that to propel yourself to change yourself for the better. It's not we're being a passive bystander, right? That's not going to get you anywhere in life. We need to be proactive, not reactive. So I listen to positive affirmations every single morning. I'll be honest with you, sometimes I get so used to them that they don't always sink in because I keep listening to them for motivation, inspiration. But sometimes I just want to get on with my work. But I make myself listen to some every day because it's good for my mind and I'm self-improving. And if I put this stuff in my mind, I know subconsciously it's going to work, even if consciously sometimes I'm thinking this isn't working or it's not working as well, right? Because I'm raring to go on the work and I can't. I have to give myself those minutes and those time because I'm self-improving. And one of the self-improvement things I'm doing is to give myself some time. One of the best things you can do for yourself is give yourself some time. Don't just look at your phone or emails in the morning. Give yourself a few minutes time at least to yourself to do something that does inspire you, that does motivate you. So the reason why we need to self-improve is to stop our life from being boring, is to stop giving our personal power away to other people who will then own you and control what you do, even if it's on a subconscious level, a people-pleasing level. You will feel renewed and have a renewed sense of vigor and wonder about your life the more you self-improve. The more you self-improve, the more you want to improve yourself more. This is how we become different version of ourselves, but in a good way. So some of the self-improvements I've been doing this year, right, which has been a tough year for me. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know what it's like when you're going through a tough time and it's like one challenge after another, right? First of all, notice I use the word challenge rather than catastrophe. So it's important that when we have difficulties in life that may seem like a catastrophe in the moment, we actually just remain focused on this. Time will pass. It shall come to an end. Nothing lasts forever like that. And so we will get over this difficult time. We have to see it as a challenge and something that's meant to have shown up in our path to help improve ourselves in some way. This might be just resilience to show how bloomin' strong you actually are. So strong you even like surprise yourself. I surprise myself sometimes. So I have had most of this year some type of ill health, right? In 2024. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought 2024 was going to be the best year of my life yet. And in some ways it is, because I'm learning and growing and developing myself, right? And I've had another best-selling book come out. I published this in ebook the day I split up with my ex. And that week it became a bestseller, baby. So that's a really good thing, you see. I joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club, like I said, and my self-improvement knowledge levels are going through the roof because I'm becoming more self-aware. I'm trying to look at my patterns of behavior when I'm attracted to a guy and analyze them logically. I'm trying to take a step back from the attraction feelings I have for a guy and say, hey, just because I'm attracted to a person doesn't mean to say their character is good for me. My attraction might feel good, but my actual knowledge of their character might mean that this person's not a good person for me, right? So I'm trying to analyze myself. I'm trying to understand myself better. I'm forcing myself to get out about the city and meet different people and go in different restaurants and do different things. This is how I'm self-improving. It helps you to be more fearless. It helps you to be more comfortable being around different people in different social situations. So this year, although my health has been very challenging, right, I've still been thinking you can improve yourself, Sandra. Even if it seems really difficult, your health you can improve. I'm determined to improve my health. Why? Because I do not want to stay in a position where I'm constantly having health issues, right? I believe that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, literally throws you a lightning bolt if you do not pay attention to something that needs your attention. Mine is clearly health. This lightning bolt is like coming in saying, you're not going to listen to me about your health, your little health problems you got. I'm going to give you a whacking load of them so you can sort it out. Sort it out now because you've got it now and you're lumbered with it until you sort it out. So a lot of the time we have to go through painful situations to make changes. I wish that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it is the case, right? So I went through a painful breakup, right? But that led me to going to Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club and Love Life Live. It's leading me to understand myself better and my own patterns of behavior. It's leading me to improve my knowledge and skills in dating and relationships. I have still got so much to learn, even though I've been on the online dating scene for like 10 years. And yes, I know far more than some other people do about the online dating scene, about what to put in bios, what type of pictures to have, all this type of thing, how to approach guys. But there's still tons that I need to learn about how to attract a healthy guy, for example, and how to meet other people in real life. This is what I'm working on currently, in real life, meeting guys in real life without wanting to date straight away, you know? So I'm trying to change my behavior and myself so that I can improve myself, and also I can then share knowledge on this channel. So I'm improving my knowledge of dating and relationships. I decided at the beginning of this year that I was focusing on my book publishing business and writing and publishing books. So this has been a huge change. Rather than going off to every shiny object, I'm forcing myself to go on the path I know I need to be on. And it's hard sometimes because being a writer, you don't earn a ton of money, or at least I don't yet, right? But I have to remain positive that I will keep selling books and more books, and I'll keep helping a lot of people. And I know that writing is my sole life purpose, so it's really important to me. So in terms of health, my back is getting better. I broke 2 vertebrae in my spine, T8 and T9, if you want to know the specific vertebrae. When I say I broke it, it wasn't me who specifically like went out to break my bones. I was at a business event on the 28th of April, and I did an exercise that we were told to do in the audience, which is to twist around at the waist as far as we could go. And it was like a mindset exercise to prove to yourself that you can break through your limitations, do things you never felt possible to do. And that's what I did. So, yeah, I listened to them, went as far as I could go, which was, well, when they said as far as you could go, as in the furthest you've ever been in your life. And then it broke 2 bones in my back, and I had to have tests to make sure it was nothing more serious like blood cancer or osteoporosis. I'm still down for a DEXA scan, which is to measure bone density, although I did get told that as my bone profile blood test came back negative, if there's no other signs of osteoporosis, they might just not agree to me having the test anyway. It was recommended by the hospital as a precaution for why I just broke some bones easily. But what have I done with this information, right? So when I believed I had a broken bone in my back, I didn't know I had 2, right? But I was misdiagnosed 3 times. But I remained resilient and convicted. Convicted? I remember convicted. I don't know that's the right word to use. I remained resilient and remained having conviction in my belief. And eventually I got an X-ray and 2 broken bones in my spine was revealed. But it was 2 months before I was actually given the right diagnosis. So that was hardcore. It was quite shocking to find out I was right, and 3 NHS staff were completely wrong. So I'm grateful to myself for trusting my intuition and knowledge, and I've broken my left ankle twice before, so I know what a break feels like. But because I got fibromyalgia, people tend to think, oh, she's just experiencing a lot of pain because she's got an injury, and it's because of her fibromyalgia. I absolutely hate it when I do that. It's very patronizing. But anyway, I know the difference between different types of pain because I don't take meds for my fibro pain. So I feel it, I understand that. Anyway, so this year, although it's been health challenges, my self-improvement is I am believing in myself more and more. I am growing in strength. So I actually asked for physiotherapy before I even knew my bones were broken. I asked for physiotherapy because my back was in a lot of pain. And I know when I had a broken ankle before, and I believed my spine was having a break in it, even though I didn't get diagnosed that for 2 months. I asked for physio very early on. And I'm so glad I did because I am getting stronger now. But with this physio, I am working multiple aspects of my body. So I'm getting stronger in multiple areas of my body, not just my back, although my back's the primary thing because the spine is connected to everything. So I'm self-improvement by self-improving by realizing you have to pay attention to health, and you need to get as strong as you can possibly be, Sandra. You need to work on your physical health more than anything, really, as well as digestive issues. Because if I don't, then it's kind of a warning for me that later in life I'll experience even more problems with my health. So I think that's why it's happened now, as a warning from the universe and God, because I'm very spiritual, that if you do not sort your health out and get your shit together now on your physical health, you're just gonna have so many problems down the line, and they're not gonna be pleasant. This has not been pleasant experience for me. Like, this has been really bad. I felt really like an invalid, like showering's been hard for me, bending over in the shower and stuff like that. But considering I've never had a back brace because I was misdiagnosed for 2 months, I think I've done damn well. Anyway, I went shopping at the weekend, first time on my own, to Aldi without my best friend. And that might sound really like, well, no biggie, no big deal, but it is a big deal because the amount of weight I was pulling in a shopping trolley when my back has been bad, and pulling and bending and lifting is a huge problem for me. This is a really good sign for me that I was able to do that on my own. And it's quite away from where I live to actually going there, because I don't live near there anymore. I used to live near there, but I don't anymore. So it's quite a trek, really. And so that was hard, but I did it, and my back hasn't been too bad so far. But with my fibromyalgia, because I do have delayed reaction to pain, it can take up to 72 hours for any pain to set in. So anyway, I've been working on my physical health, and I'm going to continue to do so with a physiotherapist. But after I've finished with a physiotherapist, I've still got to keep a grip on my physical health. So I'm thinking about what to do about that afterwards, like seeing someone like a personal trainer or something. I've made inquiries. I haven't done anything with that yet because I can't until my back's given the all clear to even do anything. But my physiotherapist suggested before doing dancing, maybe more than, for example, going to the gym, which I was thinking about the gym. So I don't know, because I think in order to go to do dance classes and stuff, I think I probably need to be a bit more in the gym. I'm not sure, but I'm getting very physically fit at home. I'm doing my weights more than I was before. And some days I don't do any exercises because my body does have a lot of pain and gets sore. But usually every third day I do it at least. So sometimes I have a break for 2 days. But I'm also de-stressing myself on purpose because I have had such high levels of cortisol in my body that it's been really affecting my health in multiple ways. I have stress rashes come up, and I have a lot of issues. So I'm trying to sort my physical health out, which is connected. My digestive issues, I'm sure, are connected to the high cortisol levels. So is my physical health. When the blood test came back, I did have a beginner's hypothyroidism. Cortisol levels affect the thyroid, and so does the digestive system affect the thyroid. So I'm trying to get all this in balance, and I have to move home soon as well. So I've had a really stressful year, but I'm trying to calm myself down all the time by thinking about moving logically, using all the skills and knowledge I have from my previous move. So once you've done something that's really hard in your life and you're doing a similar thing again, it makes you more confident and comfortable to do it again, and not as scared if you just understand that you've done it before and you achieved success so you can do it again. I'm like on the case. I'm like there. I'm like, this is me being on the case. What am I doing? There's a shorts video I did about, how to basically be memorable to letting agencies. And I have a whole way of doing that. I just naturally do it. But then I thought about it. I thought, you're using your skills that you learn in retail. I used to be in retail management for years. I learned lots of transferable skills from that job. Right. And because I've been to letting agencies before and I had to move here, I only moved here last year. I was facing homelessness then. I'm having to do it again. But this time I did think already about moving. I only just said to my best friend like a week before I got told that my landlord is likely selling, that I was thinking about moving because I'm not quite happy here. And there's a number of reasons. One is there's moldy windows, and there's a window that's completely bolted up, and I had to move in and accept that as it was, right? It's bolted down, it's moldy, it's so rotten they can't have it being open. So it's literally like screwed down. The glass was falling out before I even moved in. They had to put foam in, and foam is like formaldehyde. It's really bad. I used to actually have a really bad allergic reaction to formaldehyde, but I got years ago, I got a homeopath, made me like, and made me like have an antidote to it. But I don't think that does me any good, to be perfectly honest with you. And all the mold, and obviously I've had a lot of health issues this year, and I do think some of the health issues might be connected to this flat, because before I moved in here, I wasn't this poorly with lumps, spots, rashes, itching, all that type of stuff. I did have some of it at my old place, but I've had it a lot more extensively at this place. But I have changed what I'm eating, because I think some of it might be connected to food, and obviously some of it's to do with stress. So I've been building my stomach lining up and trying to heal that, because I think I've had leaky gut. But a lot of this stems from stress. So what I do now is I actually purposely watch movies at the moment to lower my stress levels. I have to take time out. I feel guilty sometimes for doing it. I'm like, oh my God, you should be working on your book, which I have been doing. But I'm like, if you do not lower your stress levels, particularly now I've got to move, which is very stressful, and I do freak out sometimes. I'm like, you've got to lower your levels, because if you don't keep your stress levels low, you'll get really poorly again, and you'll feel out of control, and you won't be able to work on your book or do anything. You won't be able to successfully go and get a property. You'll just be all over the place. So I need Sandra. I'm talking to myself. I need Sandra to stay calm. So one of the ways we self-improve is by realizing when we need to self-care more and do things for ourselves more that is relaxing. That maybe we do feel like, oh, it's a bit bad because I'm like chilling out or something when I should be doing something. Or maybe you think like, oh, I'm just having too much leisure time. But leisure time and relaxation counteracts stress. And even my physio said I need to reduce my stress. She said you will have high cortisol levels with everything that's been going on, because the blood test I had, my God, that made me really poorly. And I know blood tests are nothing to most people. They're like, it's nothing. It's just a little pinprick. That wasn't how it was for me. I felt the needle slice through my skin, and the vein was like wiggling underneath it. It was just this horrible. And I nearly passed out. My best friend was with me, and I had to have food and drink just to open my eyes, because they wouldn't open by themselves. This is how bad I get. But this was the worst blood test I've ever had, and I've got a huge phobia of blood tests. And this in itself made me stressed, which could have caused the thyroid issue in the first place to show up in my test, which then creates the fact I'm supposed to have another blood test in 6 months, which I've told them I'm not having. I'm like, I am not thinking I'm going to have a blood test in 6 months, because I'll just be stressed for 6 months. I need to be reducing my stress. Then I won't have the beginnings of hypothyroidism. I haven't been diagnosed with the actual official hypothyroidism, because I'm not at that stage, because my TS4 is still okay, but only just, right? But my TSH levels are high, which means actually it's hypothyroidism. It works the opposite way with thyroid. Anyway, the point is I'm getting myself better. And the point is I have to work on multiple aspects of myself. But I have to like literally focus on my writing a lot as well. Not just because I need to get the books out and published with the limited time scales, especially I want to get some done before I move. I also have to do my writing to de-stress. But if a lot of things are going on in my life and a lot of things are buzzing around in my head, such as the fact I've got to move, then it's like, you know what I mean? You get a bit scattered, because you have to pay attention to properties all the time. I'm there on Zoopla, I'm there on Rightmove and on the market, and they're clicking through individual letting agencies. I'm going to see them in person. You can see my shorts video, what I did on Friday. But I was really good, because I went in there looking really smart, really professional, really confident, was really memorable. I went into one place such as Hunters, for example, which is a letting agency in my city, Bexter in the UK. And, by the time I was leaving, everyone was saying goodbye to me, because I was very confident and powerful and strong. And that's where I need to come from. In order to get a property, in order to get this one, I was very professional, very well organized. First one in here, to one of the first ones in here. I turned up on time. The person that was supposed to be coming to view this property that I actually ended up being in now, they actually didn't show up. They were running late and then didn't turn up. Right? So because I was organized, professional, smart, talked appropriately, like I learned when I was in retail, then, that's why I got given this property, because they require a certain level of professionalism. If they're seeing someone who comes into the property, a letting agency market, someone who comes into their offices, for example, and they're seeing someone with straggly hair, someone who's got food down their front of their top, someone who looks like they're like a tramp or something, and they're coming across me, who's actually really well organized, saying, like, what properties have you got, listing exactly what I want, looking smart, looking professional, it instills confidence if they've got someone like me coming in there, even though the person who's scruffy looking could actually be a millionaire. You never know about these things. But what I'm saying is there's a degree of certainty that a letting agency needs to have as you potentially being their tenant. And if you come across powerful, strong, and know what you're talking about, you're more likely to get a property. Like, I am seeing a property tomorrow now, because we've just gone over midnight to Tuesday, on Wednesday, and this property hasn't even been advertised yet, right? It's not even online at the moment. I've been into this letting agency, it's just up the road from me, twice. And I've said to them, like, first of all, I said, and they took my details, and I went back in again and said, I know your colleague said you've got 2 properties coming up soon. Is there any chance, like, I can look at them? Like, what's the situation with them? Because I'm really interested. Tell me more about it. So now I've got an appointment for tomorrow, Wednesday, at 3 p.m. because it's got tenants in it still at the moment. They haven't moved out yet. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's something I already feel that I probably will take it if I like it, because in terms of property in my city, they go really quickly. They go bang, bang, bang. So you've got to be on the ball and you've got to get in there fast. But the fact they've even allowed me to see a property that hasn't even been advertised yet, that speaks volumes about me, right? This is how I've self-improved. Because if I came from a place where I went in there with an unenthusiastic voice, with a looking down at the floor, with bad body language, do you think they're going to be more confident with me being like that, or me being my bubbly self that says, hey, I'm really interested in property, this is a situation that's happening, I was at my last property before this one for X amount of years, and I'm really interested. I saw a property in the window that I've got told is now gone, but I'm really interested in something similar to that. What have you got? And I'm telling them what I want. And these people can see I'm smartly dressed. They can see I mean business. They can see that I'm confident in what I'm saying. I do have, thankfully, some savings as well, which I purposely kept because I knew that I might have to at some point move from here again. I didn't think it would be so soon, but I'm able to do that because I'm very, although there is money, I do spend quite a lot of money per month, especially on my health. It's been crazy the last few months on the amount of money I've spent on my health. I mean, we're talking a lot of money, right? But I'm worth it, and I need to get myself sorted. And the only way I get myself sorted is by putting money into my health, right? There's no other two ways about it, right? You've got to believe in yourself and have confidence in yourself and love yourself enough to invest in yourself. Investing in your health is investing in yourself for the future, right? Because I don't want to get ill like this again. I can't say it's never going to happen again. I do have 2 disabilities, but hidden disabilities, but that's the way it is. But I need to improve. So, if I hadn't gone in there confident and strong and smartly dressed, I probably wouldn't necessarily even have got an appointment for tomorrow. The guy hadn't even spoke to the tenants when he provisionally booked an appointment for me. Then he spoke to the tenants and moved it to the next day, right? But this is how it is. And because I know the business, because I've done this before and I did succeed in it, I know what works now. And so, because I've done retail a lot, I know how to speak to people and how to approach people in the right way. So the skills I learnt before, which is, part of self-improvement, you can self-improve, like I said, through a job, through learning skills, experience and knowledge that can help you to be better in situations later on in your life, by learning all those skills and by applying them to the jobs, not job search, applying them to the house search, the flat search. It stood me in good stead. So the reason we need to keep working on self-improvement is because for our future's sake, as well as our present sake, because once we learn more skills to upskill ourselves, those are skills we can take through into the next part of our lives, the next phase of our lives, that will make the change seem less scary because you've done something before similar. Because change is very scary to a lot of people. But the more you get familiar with being able to be changed and adaptable and flexible, the easier life gets, because then you're like not so scared and you're not so fearful, and you've got to have a lot of deep faith in yourself as well. But I was only saying to my best friend about why I was thinking about moving, and then like a week later, hey presto, I get an email out of the blue from my letting agency telling me my landlord's thinking about selling, and probably next month when your rent's due, he's going to give you your 2 months notice. But they're giving me a bit of extra time at the moment, heads up, in case I want to start looking for a property already. But I take that as a good sign that yes, I should look for a property like now. Because last time it took me more than 2 months to find this place, because my last landlord gave me illegal notice, and then he had to give me legal notice, which means I ended up staying longer because he gave me the illegal notice, then he had to give me the legal one. So it's more than the legal one is 2 months notice, but because he effed it up and didn't give me the proper notice, and I had to get a council caseworker involved, he then had to give me 2 months notice, sort of at the end of that notice, if you know what I mean, because he'd done it incorrectly. So it ended up being about 3.5 months notice, I think, in total. And so that's vastly different. I was going to have to be moved out by the 27th of December, and I didn't actually move in here till like the 6th of February. So it was he gave me legal notice on the 5th of December, but illegal notice, I think, was back in either the end of October or beginning of November. So it was extended, right? But because I know that it took me that time to get a place before, I know that I need that extra time. Plus, Christmas is coming up. It's the worst time to actually get moving, because a lot of people don't move near Christmas. But because it's September, I've got a much better chance of acquiring a new place now than I have come the end of October, especially in the beginning of November. So self-improvement allows you to have more control over your future when things are up in the air and out of your control. Because if you've learnt skills and knowledge that you've applied to one situation in your life that's similar, you can then replicate that and do it again by learning from your successes and things that worked and things that didn't work. So the more knowledge we gain, the more we actually go into change and overcome our difficulties and struggles and fears, the more we're actually better equipped to be able to live a better life in the future. Now, I believe moving from here actually is going to be a good thing for me. I'm just a little bit scared about where to move to, because, there's some places in Exeter that are not so safe as others. But it's very difficult to find a place where it's totally safe. You're never going to be totally safe. But also I have needs. But, in this place, I told you there's mold, right? There's 2 windows in the toilet shower room that is rotten, basically. One's, like I said, bolted down. This one in here is like quite going rotten as well. I've got windows that have got boards in front of them to try and be more soundproof, because there's no double glazing, right? And my health has suffered more here. So I believe that if I go to a new place that's better for me, especially because I want somewhere that's got double glazed windows and ideally central heating, that's better in terms of the windows I can open. I don't have to put boards in front of them because it's well soundproofed. It's purpose built, rather than something like this where the walls are paper thin. This is just going to improve my life actually, and improve my health. So I'm thinking it's going to be a good thing, really, because I was already thinking about there's certain things that I'm not so happy about here. I do think there's a lot of benefits to here, but I also think there's some downsides. I mean, there's really noisy people that have moved into the student accommodation, so they're shouting to the early hours of the morning every night, right? So there's been a lot of swearing, and there's like a family, I think, that's moved in further over the way, and the druggy stuff is going on. So, I don't really want that. And so lately I've been thinking I'm not so happy here as I used to be. And that if I moved somewhere else and got a better, more decent place that was like had, like better heating, kept the heat in with double glazing, better soundproofing. I wouldn't have to board my windows up. I can get more fresh air or fresh light in the place and, basically be healthier. I think it'll be really good for me. So I'm seeing this as a benefit, and I am seeing one bedroom properties come up, but they are harder to get in a good place because there's places that are like near main roads again. And one of the things I don't like so much here is that I'm literally opposite a main road. Like the bridge is that's a main road is parallel to my home, so I hear a lot of traffic noise as well as people noise. They doing works to the bridge here, which are like digging all the time. So you know what I mean? I just think that now I just felt that now is the time to move on. But I didn't think now as in I'm going to do it immediately. I felt like I might want to move in the future. That's what I said to my best friend. I might want to move in the future. And I was thinking how my life could be better if I did move, but I didn't actually think I'd be doing it this year and this side of Christmas. I thought it would be somewhere in the future. But I did get told when I moved in here that your landlord's 80 and he might be selling to pay for his care if he needs to go in a nursing home, or if anything happened to him, he died, his family might need to sell a property, but he wants to sell it for his financial future planning, apparently. So yeah, I don't know how he's going to sell it with rotten windows, but I think he'll not get as much money for it unless he sorts the windows out. So anyway, I think this move will be a really good thing for me in the end. But it is a lot of stress because it's like I've got to up sticks and move again. And it looks like I'm going to have to buy a brand new washer dryer, a brand new fridge freezer if I move, because most places don't have those things in it, which I thought they would. And, I'll have to get someone to move all this furniture that I flat packed that was flat packed that I built with some friends. I'm gonna have to get them to take all this down again and move everything again. It's gonna be a lot of stress. But the sooner I find somewhere, the sooner I've got my sights on somewhere, I know where I'm going, the better. And then, then I have to move in before Christmas. By the 8th of December, I have to be out of here. Right. So, but it requires that there's going to be a crossover of places. Basically, there's like a crossover. Last crossover was like for a month nearly. So while I get one place sorted and things ready, because the property I'm looking at this week, the tenants are still in there at the moment, so they're not moving out straight away. But it gives me time and chance to get stuff sorted, So I am excited for this place this week. It's so far probably I think the best place that I've seen so far, even though I haven't seen it yet, like in terms of location. But there was a knife crime earlier in the year around this area, not exactly the same spot. It was in a different street but nearby it. So the police said it was a one-off rare accident, one-off rare incident, sorry. It wasn't an accident, it was like attempted murder with a knife. So that isn't very good news, is it, really? But in Exeter, there's it's difficult because there's certain places that aren't good, but it could be like a house isn't good, but then the next street's fine. So that's the only thing I worry about is the place. But the actual place itself, next door is student accommodation. So I'll be next door to student accommodation again, like I am here. And the students have said how wonderful the neighborhood is and really nice and friendly. So it seems actually in the street where they are and where I'm going to be looking, it seems like it's a nice place, because I haven't seen any actual bad reviews about the specific street that flat is on. Only good reviews by students that literally in apartments next door to it. So, but there is going to be more flats in there. Like, it's a huge block of flats, which I'm not used to being a huge block of flats. I'm only used to being in a house with like up to 3 more flats usually. So that's going to be a huge weird thing for me. So safety is really important to me at the moment, like it always is, but even more so at the moment. So yeah, so what I'm trying to say is when we develop ourselves and we grow ourselves and improve ourselves for the better, it takes us to our next skill level, which enables us to deal more better and easily with more challenges and complications that come up later in our life that are unexpected, because I didn't expect to get an email. It was weird though, because I do believe in law of attraction and what we think we can manifest in reality. So the fact that I was even thinking like a week before, oh, I'm thinking about moving, and I'm kind of visualizing somewhere that's really nicely laid out with double glazing and central heating, that's off the, no, that's not on a main road, that's down a road or street, that's off the main road, that, you know, I can basically have all my you know, furniture there, and I don't have to worry about bordering windows up and stuff like that to give it soundproofing. You know, if I get somewhere really so well soundproofed, and I could just see me being so much more happier if I feel more safer and comfortable in my home, and more like warm and able to get sunlight more through the windows and blah blah blah. And so I was visualizing all this, and like a week later, you know, when I said to my best friend, "Oh, I think, you know, I am thinking about moving," and then all of a sudden, bang, an email out of the blue. I'm like, "Oh my God, I've got to move." Like, for real. I'm like, "Oh, geez, you already thought about that like a month, oh, well, like a week before." But it was a strong feeling. I've thought about moving before, but this time it was like visualizing what it would feel like in a new home. And so, yeah, I do believe that manifestation works. I do believe that you can think something in your mind. If you constantly think about it and give it a lot of power, and you can visualize it happening, I believe it can actually happen. I still believe I got a soulmate from a past life. I really do. I believe he's Indian. But I'm like, are you going to meet him in this life or not, Sandra? I keep having, like, I had a vision of a different Indian guy the other day that just came out in my waking vision while I was doing exercise. I'm like, oh my God. Of course, in my vision, I thought he's my soulmate. I'm like, you gotta not think he's your soulmate, Sandra, because last time you thought that, it ended in a guy not being right for you. But I'm interested to know if and when this guy's going to show up. So, Bruno, hi. Hello, Bruno. Lots of love to you. Nice to see you. So, self-improvement. So this year, like I said, I've improved I'm improving my health. I am getting stronger by doing lots of exercise. So with the physio, I'm doing exercises for my legs, for my back. I'm now doing exercise for my arms as well. So I've had an old injury in this arm that's been causing me pain for years. I didn't think it would ever get better in my entire life. And I spoke to the physio about it, even though it's my back that's injured, because I said I got problems with my arm, this arm, and she gave me some exercise to do, and it's so much better, really a lot better than I ever dreamt of. Like, I'm like, oh my God, look at the progress I'm making. But I'm really trying to build my body up so I'm strong, so I can lift more things myself and be more able-bodied to do stuff for myself. And that is hardcore. I'm like, come on, Sandra, you can do this, right? Because we have a lot of negative beliefs in our mind that tell us you can't do this, you can't do that, you know, you've been this way for years, you're never going to change, blah blah blah. And we have to just shut those noises off and say, I can build whatever reality I want. I can change myself to whatever I want to be. And even if I struggle and I find things really difficult to change, I can do it, because if I look at all the changes I've had in my life and all the achievements I've made, they're humongous, absolutely humongous. So that's what I want you to do with yourself as well. I want you to look back in your life and think of all the changes you made. Now, if you're at a stage in your life where you haven't made many changes and you're thinking, my life is boring, it's all the same, you have to get into self-improvement, improving yourself, because you're looking for outside things, like I said earlier, to make you happy, to change your life, to not make it so boring. But if you change yourself and you work on improving yourself, this could be improving yourself in dating, learning more dating skills, relationships, learning more open communication skills to improve your relationships. This could be finances, learning how to budget or to save, for example. This could be in career, making a career change, like going to a different job or creating a side hustle or trying to ask for a promotion that you've not had for years. And, you know, you can, with family, maybe you can spend more time with your family, or maybe you want to have a family of your own, or maybe you want to be around other members of your family that you haven't seen for a long time. Maybe there's something you can do to, you know, help grow your family better, or help your family. Or maybe you just need to create a group of friends that feel like your family. Right? I have a best friend, female friend, and she was adopted. And so she's always like, friends of the family you choose for yourself. And even if you're not adopted, sometimes you can make really, really amazing friends that do more for you than your own flesh and blood do. So you can make improvements in all these multiple aspects of your life, making self-care a priority, spending more time with yourself, doing things that relax you, doing things that make you feel good, focusing on your passion, your hobbies, your interests, and building skills to help you progress in that. Like I did the 7-day challenge with publishing.com this year, not that long ago. It was about 5 weeks ago now, 5.5 weeks, I think it was. And I did that even though I've been publishing books since 2015, have my own book publishing imprint. I'm like, there's things that I don't know. There's things missing in my knowledge about book publishing that's going to help me. And I believe if I do that challenge, then I'll learn new skills. And I did. There was things that I was missing in my knowledge. Some of it was just knowing about different software that's available. But there was things that was missing in my knowledge that enabled me to enhance my book writing and publishing skills, right? Because if we don't do something different, we don't learn anything different. We don't bring anything new to the table of our life. Doing things that are new and scary and get us out of our comfort zone actually give us the best insight into ourselves and bring great awareness to ourselves and push ourselves to a new level in time and make us improve ourselves, right? You should be making your mission in life to prove yourself. Far too often people focus on external things, trying to improve other people, trying to tell people how to run their lives. And I know this sounds ironic, seeing as I'm telling you to self-improve and to change your life for the better. I know how this sounds. So you can listen to me or not listen to me. It's up to you. But too many of us, including me in the past as well, we would focus on external things. I did this for years until 2012 when I entered the entrepreneur space and then got into personal and professional development, which is improving oneself. I got an itchy nose. What's going on? Which is improving oneself in both personal and business matters. And so by actually realizing, oh, I've got skills and experience and knowledge I can bring to the world to help others, it then made me want to acquire more skills and knowledge to help others and to help myself, because knowledge is power, but wisdom is more powerful because that's actually acting on the knowledge. Knowledge is power to you, but it's not ignited power unless you add action to it. So you can have all this knowledge, but if you don't do anything with it, then you're not actually improving yourself as much as you need to, right? People can get loads of knowledge, but they don't act on it, which means they don't actually progress in their life. You have to learn from things that don't go right in order to enable you to find out what does go right. So we have to have light and dark in our life. Unfortunately, we can't have one without the other, because light doesn't exist without dark, dark doesn't exist without light. So this means we'll have to have things in our life that may be painful and challenge us and hurtful and not good. And then we have the light that we have to allow into those dark spaces and to push through, to actually spread it out by learning the different tools, techniques and skills and abilities to actually break through these barriers and difficult times. It's really important. And so what I would encourage you to do, like I said, is take a piece of paper, notepad, notebook, whatever you want. Write down your strengths and weaknesses. Now, we need to keep working on our strengths in order to improve them. So that improves our core self, because a lot of the time our core self needs to be reliant on our strengths, excuse me, to get you through a difficult day or time. But we also need to be learning how to improve in our weak areas. And I'm going to not stop coughing. Excuse me. So once you notice weaknesses and strengths, and keep working on the strengths to improve them. But if you take the weaknesses, then obviously you don't want to be spending all your time focusing on weaknesses, because it's just going to make you feel down and depressed. You need to take a weakness, so something you're not so good at, something you need to improve on. You need to take that and work on it. You need to work on the most urgent, important things first. So, for example, with me this year, it's been my health. Like, I'm like, you can't do anything if you're really poorly and you're just lying on the bed with no energy and you're itching all the time and because you've got all rashes going off and your digestive system's up the creek and your back's in pain because of your back injury. Unless you focus on your health and getting stronger in your health and your body, which in turn will get you stronger in your mind, then you're not going to get anywhere, Sandra. It doesn't matter if you want to do lots of stuff in your career, you're not going to be able to do it, a self-employed career, because you're not going to have the energy to do it. So you have to make health a priority. Health wasn't a priority, now it is for me. Right? So this is how my life's changed this year. This is how I've improved. I'm like, your health has to be a number one priority in your life from now on forever. And I feel scared about even saying that because I'm like, oh my God, forever is so long. Maybe I'll go off and do different things and forget about this thing. But I'm like, no, you can't unless you want to end up getting maybe one or two of the things that you were tested for that's deadly. One would kill you if you had what you were tested for, but thank God you didn't get it. But if you continue to go down the path, that's what could potentially happen to you. And so you need to stop it, do a U-turn and go back the opposite way and think, no, I need to make my health a top priority. This means de-stressing myself. This means watching 1 or 2 movies a day if I need to lower my stress level, especially when I'm in this highly anxiety-induced state a lot of the time from having to move. But I'm feeling quite calm at the moment by comparison because I know that I've got a property coming up that I really feel like I'm like before I've even looked at it. So I'm kind of quite certain about this one compared to others. I shouldn't be saying that in the sense that I don't know, maybe there's going to be problems. There is one issue I've seen already because I've looked at the area, and that is they got bins overflowing. Big, like skip type recycling bins are overflowing, and they got things on the floor and stuff. They've got a health and safety issue with the bins there. I noticed that. So that is a minus point. Big minus point, but that's the outside of the building. It's not the inside, I don't think. But obviously, sometimes reflection on the outside can be reflection on the inside. So I have to see what it's like on the inside. There's still time to see other properties, but I have seen some other properties. But at the moment, this one on paper looks the best, but doesn't mean to say it's going to be the best. But I have to find that out. So in your life, remember to do the most urgent, important self-improvement things. So with mine, it's my health. Why? Because that is causing the most amount of aggravation and problems and hassle and upset in my life. So I have to sort that out. I have to do more writing. Why? Because it de-stresses me. And I have to lower my stress levels because if I continue to have the high levels of cortisol for a prolonged period of time, like I have done, it's going to keep affecting my thyroid and my digestive system, which is being completely screwing me up, right? Thyroid means you get really tired and exhausted, which means that I can't do my writing that I love. But writing actually helps reduce cortisol levels and chills me out. So does watching movies helps reduce my stress levels. I notice I'm a lot more calmer after movies. Sometimes I feel so overwhelmed, my brain is just like about to explode. And I'm like, you watch a movie, calms me down, I feel my stress levels go down. So at the moment, I'm not doing all my, like, I should be putting people into asexual groups, for example. I should be doing newsletters, I should be blogging, but that's not as important as finding a home at the moment. Right? I have to keep a roof over my head. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Shelter, warmth, food, drink, your basic needs. So basic needs has to be number one. Health is a basic need, right? If we are, like I said, if we're not healthy, everything else falls apart. But writing is something I can't live without. Every time I don't do writing, I actually get more stressed. I get more negative emotions building up in me or expressed through me. So this is all about self-awareness. This is all about self-improvement. Is about self-awareness. It's about realizing your emotions and how your emotions play out in everyday life and what affects them. And I notice when I don't write my book, even for a day, I start to have more negative emotions sometimes. And it's not every time. If I'm out for a day trip, really enjoying myself, such as at the aquarium or I'm going to the theatre in London, for example, I'm going on a day trip, then I'm okay if I don't do writing that day. But if I'm at home and I haven't done any writing, I don't feel productive. I don't feel like I'm living my calling, but also I feel more angry. There's no one here to be angry at. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm not being angry. There's not a person here to be angry at, but I know I feel more angry. I have more angry thoughts. I feel more aggressive, if you like, sometimes. Aggressive as in like, oh, this is just irritating me at the moment. More frustration, more anger. But when I start writing again, it just lowers all that. And I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. The world's great because I'm living in my sole purpose. And it just calms me down because I don't care what other people are doing in their life. People's lives don't affect me when I'm writing usually. I can't care less a lot of the time. But when I'm not writing, it's like everything's a big deal to me. And I notice little things. So writing just really calms me down, but when I don't do it, I feel very poorly. Like, and I don't even do a little bit, but the more I do, sometimes it's hard to get back into it though, because I'm dealing with really different, well, I should say difficult. I'm dealing with difficult topics at the moment in the Asexuality book. I'm trying to explain things. I know what I mean, but I'm having to explain it to you guys who are going to hopefully get that Asexuality book to truly Asexuality. This is an asexual guide to understanding attraction. Well, asexuality, first of all, attraction, the asexual spectrum. Because people are not really understanding it. They're getting very confused and not understanding it. So I'm having to spell it out in a more deep manner, which is harder when I'm trying to explain these things. So, yeah. But it's good, it's good for me to focus on my book publishing dreams. But having to manage that with my health, with the stress, and with the move, it's going to be hard. But I'm having to try and cut down other areas. Now, I had to speak to someone because I'm actually in the experts bureau and I'm still in the group there, and I'm still going to be pitched to 100 media by the guy who runs that group, right? Because I paid for a membership that included that. And I was meant to get him the list of 100 people that I think he should be pitching me to about asexuality, to be on their show, for example. And I haven't done that yet. So I got back to him and told him about the fact that my life's a bit in chaos at the moment, unsettled, because I've got to find somewhere to live. I haven't actually secured a new place yet. I've got book deadlines and I've got health issues. So does he want me to get it done at the end of next month, or when I've settled into a new place, when I've found somewhere, because I don't know what's going to be happening in the next couple of months where I'm going to be. So he said after you've settled, he thinks it'll be better. So I said, thanks for him understanding, so that's taken that thing I needed to do, and remove that temporarily from my agenda at the moment. So I need to cut down to the things I actually have to immediately be doing, which is streaming on this channel, writing my book, maintaining my groups. I do have to put new people into groups at some point. I did a few the other day, but there's still a lot to do. But I have to zone out and do my book. And when I'm not doing my book at the moment, I'm literally on letting agencies. Sometimes I've been on there for hours this week, letting agencies. On Friday, I spent hours in the city. I did little shorts about going around to different letting agencies, but it paid off because that's what got me the appointment this week, which I'm really excited about, and I hope it's going to be a good place. I'm just a little bit worried that there was some crime in another street not far away from there, but then even in my old place that I lived for years, there was actually 2 burglaries actually in our actual house. It was a shared house, but I lived in my own flat, but the house got burgled twice, and someone literally burnt down the shed out the back. They torched it. So nowhere is guaranteed to be safe, if you know what I mean. And there was an incident once that the place was cornered off as well, my actual place, but I wasn't there at the time. My old place, that is. So, I lived there happily for years and felt quite safe despite all that happening. So I'm hoping that where I move to will be as safe as it can be. I just know that the adjacent area is not so safe because there's people that are not so good there. But the actual street itself, I think's fine from the reviews I've seen. So, well, more than fun. They said it's a friendly neighborhood. So, yeah, it's always difficult when you're moving because you've got to make sure that you get a good area as possible, but you haven't got X-ray vision, So you don't know. You can do. I've been doing like as much research as possible to find out as many reviews of different areas of my city and try and find as much information on places as possible. But it's hard. So every time we do something that's difficult, we are actually enabling ourselves to have more resistance in life and to deal with tough challenges that life throws at us, which in turn helps us to grow our confidence and self-esteem and belief in ourselves and have conviction in our own decisions. It's hard making decisions for ourselves because things can go wrong, but we need to take radical responsibility for ourselves and our lives and our own lives. The more we can rely on ourselves, the happier we usually are in life, because then people don't piss us off as much, because then we're like, well, I don't care what you're doing in your life because I'm living my life and I'm strong enough to live my own life and not rely on anyone else. I think it's hard because in healthy relationships, you should be able to, for example, rely on your friends somewhat, and you should be able to like have a degree of relying on each other as friends and community members, for example. But I do think the more you can rely on yourself, the better, because the less you need other people. So if something doesn't work out or someone's not behaving as you wish they were and you don't rely on them, it's not such a big deal if you don't see them or they're not around anymore, because you're like, well, I can take care of myself. You do whatever you want. I'm just going to make progress in my life. If you've had people hurt you in your life, one of the best ways to have revenge, I don't believe in revenge per se, but one of the best things you can do to have revenge is actually self-improve and to get so much better in yourself and your life and your skills and what you can do for yourself, that the person who hurt you or people that hurt you, they'll be like, oh my God, what's she doing? She's like, or whatever gender you are, they're excelling. What the hell are they doing? They're like, when I was with them or liked them or was around them, they weren't like this. And now they just like so much more skills, so much more confidence, so much more knowledgeable. And they look effing fantastic as well. It's like, they missed out. And they'll be like, oh, I missed out so badly. I'm like, yeah, see ya, don't want to be ya. But you know what I mean? So, and even just to grow in yourself, grow your own courage, your own wisdom, it just feels so good. It's very internally motivating, right? There's some people in the world that are just so bored with their life. It's because they're not challenging themselves to do anything different. It's like, I love my writing, I have to write because I get ill if I don't write, but I also need to challenge myself in other ways. I need to challenge myself with my writing, but challenge myself in other aspects of my life, challenge myself to be more sociable, challenge myself to go in different places. I've never been in so many places that are different to what I would usually go in until this year, in the most recent months. Because when I did Matthew Hussey's Love Life course, in meeting new people, it told me to go and do different things with different people in different places and go to places I've never been before at different times and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, I just have to push myself to do it. But the places I go are more expensive than I usually go to. But I'm like, doesn't matter, Sandra. You need to go and do it. Why? Because it's good for you, because it gets you into different social scene. It makes you see your city in a different light as well, because I never knew there were so many different places I could go to. Because when you go to the same places, it just puts your mind in a pattern of like, this is all there is, and you get habitual about it, and you don't live up to your full potential of actually expanding your mind. So self-improvement is a continuous learning process to develop and grow one's self in multiple aspects of your life, working on both your strengths and both your weaknesses, with the most urgent and important things happening first. You might hear some noises that's coming from the student accommodation. They're getting really, the new students that moved in are really loud this year. So, it's like gone 1 a.m. and they're just shouting, and so the whole street can hear them basically, which will be a good thing if I move out of here, because then I shouldn't have that, although I will be living next to student accommodation. But I should have double glazed windows in another place, hopefully. I've just said, well, I will be moving next to student accommodation. Did you hear what I just said then? I told you I'm going to be moving to the place where I'm looking at tomorrow before I've even looked at it. Because I just said I'll be moving near student accommodation again in present tense, which means my mind has already gone to the fact that I'm moving there before I've even viewed the place. That's very powerful. I think it's very interesting to self-analyze. The way we self-improve is self-analyze. And I've just self-analyzed myself to say, hey, Sandra, you unconsciously just said that you're going to be living in this new place next to student accommodation. You didn't say, if I move to this new place, I'll be living next to student accommodation. You'll be like, be living next to student accommodation again, which means you've already decided to move there before you've even seen the place. That's the truth of the matter. But you must remain cautious just in case there's anything you don't like about the property. You already know one thing you don't like, which is the outside bin scenario. But do you see what I mean? We have to constantly analyze ourselves. Like, what do we say and what do we think? What are we actually wanting to say, but what are we really saying? And we can apply these things to like looking in the mirror. Have you ever done a mirror exercise to find out if you truly like something or not? Maybe, maybe not. Well, how this works is you literally go in front of the mirror and you talk about different things in your life. And the things that you're really passionate about, you will start smiling with. Your eyes will light up, your face will light up, and you'll be so enthusiastic. The things that are not helpful for you in life, that you don't like, that you're having huge struggles with, you'll be feeling more down. So the mirror test is great. So when I talk about writing being my passion, you can see it's fire in my eyes and my smile is here and I'm animated. And I'm like doing this like, oh man, this is so great thing. But when I'm thinking about something that I'm not that interested in doing, my tone of voice is like this, and I'm like, I'm not really so interested in doing that. I'm procrastinating doing that. It doesn't feel so good to me. So please do the mirror test. Why is the mirror test important? Because you can see things that make you happy and things that don't make you happy. And one of the ways we self-improve is, yes, we have to work on both the things that make us happy and the things that make us not happy. But if there's any things that make us unhappy in our life that we can cut out or change, then we should do that. And even if you're trying to con your mind and con yourself into believing you like a certain thing because maybe you think you should for convention or societal expectation, look in the mirror and say these things out loud about what you're doing. And even if you think you like something, say it and look at your body language. And that will tell you and give you a strong indicator if you're telling yourself the truth or lying to yourself, or just subconsciously having different thoughts and feelings and opinions to what you're consciously doing. And then these are the areas you need to work on. Like if something's like really happy and you're like elated, it's like, let's do more of that in my life. Let's do more of that. Proactively put more of that into my life. And if it's something like, oh my God, I'm really not interested in this, if you have to do it, then we have to find ways of being happier to do that thing that we have to do. But if it's something we don't have to do, that we've just made sure that we think we need to do in our life, or we put something in our life that really we decide is not for us, then we can decide to diminish our time doing that thing or to get rid of it completely. So self-improvement is all about self-awareness and then improving your life and yourself based on the awareness you've got about yourself, which means sitting down with pen and paper or laptop typing and analyze all the aspects of your life, what feels good in that aspect, what doesn't, what feels amazing, what feels boring, what feels fantastic, what feels like it's just the same thing over and over again. It's so repetitive. All these things need to be analyzed. And then we set goals for these things. Now, it's better not to do everything at once because that'll just overwhelm you. But sometimes you'll have to do things simultaneously. I have to, at the moment, simultaneously work on my health, work on de-stressing myself constantly every day, work on my book, work on my social life, work on moving. And in terms of health, I have to improve my back. So it's kind of like, you could say that's just health. So we've got health, we've got socialization, we've got decreasing my stress. So I think I'll have to separate because stress is to do with health as well. So I'll do them separate. Back, I've got to sort my back out in terms of health, digestive issues in terms of health, stress in terms of health. Those three things I'm constantly working on. And overall body strength improvement. So actually that's four things, but we can put them all in health. But these are the four areas of my health, right? And then I've got to look for a new place. I've got to maintain writing my book. I've still got to work to the deadlines for that. And I've also got to do all the moving thing, right? So it's health and self-care, and health, it includes the body strengthening, the stress reduction, the digestive calming down. I'm taking health products for these things as well. And then the move requires a lot of organization, the writing requires a lot of time, and de-stressing is and give myself some self-care and self time, and also socialization, going out to different meets. These are all things that are working simultaneously that I'm trying to improve in my life at once. So sometimes we can't just take a single thing and just focus on that one thing. We have to be focused on multiple aspects of improvement, because time has caught up with those things. And it's like, they're all urgent, they're all necessary. Right? Of course, you can prioritize which are the most important out of all of those. I mean, health has got to be first, because obviously I can't do anything unless I've got my health. Writing I have to do to keep my stress levels down. And then, searching for a place is probably actually third. So, although searching for a home is the most important and urgent in sense of I need to keep a roof on my head, if I haven't got my health, I can't search for property. If I'm stressed out, I can't search for property. I won't be in the fit state to get the right property for me. So bear in mind these things, but obviously I'm still focusing on dating and relationships, as in the sense I'm in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club, but I'm not paying as much attention to dating at the moment because I'm not active on dating sites anymore. I'm still on Badoo. I've still got a premium account. I actually saw one the other day. I looked through it and I saw the picture of the guy. And then that was it. I just came out of the app because I'm like, no, you're not messaging anyone. You're not going there, because I don't want you active on dating sites anymore, Sandra. I want you focusing on meeting people in real life. I'm working on doing that. So, I'm working on improving all these, I think. And, moving will improve, hopefully, my actual situation, my home life situation. So I'd be actually happier eventually when it's happened in a new home. And it should be somewhere that I can stay for a longer period of time, because like I said, I always knew the landlord might sell this place. I didn't think it was going to be so quickly, but so this place has never felt totally my home, because I've always been aware that I'm not able to stay here forever. And so I was in my last place for years, and the majority of the time until the very end, the landlord never was thinking about selling. Well, I say the very end, probably 1 or 2 years before that or something. I think it's when the pandemic hit. That's when he started thinking about selling. And I didn't move till last year. But for a number of years I was there, he wasn't thinking about that at all. And so I would urge you and encourage you to dive into self-improvement, because it'll help keep you motivated. It'll help inspire you in your life. By working on yourself all the time, you've always got a project to work on. You've always got something to aim for. You've always got something to have a goal for in your life, or multiple goals for in life. And you've always got something that you can strive to achieve, and you will knock your goals off and achieve it one by one. I'm determined to get my back better so that I can go dancing if I want. That's a big thing to be able to do. I mean, I need my spine right for my dancing, right? But I'm determined to get myself better so that I can have the strength to do housework on my own and do shopping on my own, which might seem really strange to the average person. But, I've got fibromyalgia as well, which is a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body. And I want to get my body strong to be able to cope with that more as well, because I usually need help doing things around the house. It might be that I have to even employ a cleaner in the future. That might actually be a solution for me with my fibromyalgia. I don't know. But I think if I can get stronger in my own body and a lot better, then I'm going to feel, better in myself, because relying on, I love my best friend to bits in a friendship way, and he's so helpful to me, but I have to rely on myself more as well. I've had to rely on him a lot more, ask for extra help with my back being injured, because it's been really tough for me. But by having more strength to do things on my own, it's good. Like I've done, because he's sick at the moment, has been sick for the past week. I've been doing stuff more on my own. There's only one thing that I usually ask him to do, I haven't done yet, which is getting big bottles. Well, it's like getting lots of bottles of water from the supermarket. I'm with him when he does that usually, but I haven't actually lifted the shopping trolley like that with all the waters in it. But I did lift a shopping trolley. Like, when I say lift, I mean pull it up the stairs, because I live at the top floor flat, and also, like, it has to go up and down hills well, usually. So I've just done an Aldi shop by myself. I've hoovered my flat and cleaned the stairs this week. Done my shower and my floor and that. I haven't done the washing up for a while yet, but something I do anyway. But it really hurts my back doing that. It hurts my fibromyalgia, let alone the fact I've got an injury on my back. So it's doubly painful doing that. But I have to do it soon, you know. But these things, I find that it's better if I don't do them all in one day, because I exhaust myself. So it's better if I spread them out. So, you know, this is an improvement. I'm really proud that I did all the shopping at Aldi myself, which is a way to walk. A lot of weight in the shopping trolley with like 8 lots of soy milks, smoothie, various other stuff, nuts and things like that. And, you know, I had loads of toilet rolls, and it's just a lot to walk and stuff with as well. So, you know, I think whenever you make improvements as well, something I haven't mentioned yet is reward yourself. It's very important you reward yourself for making self improvements. This can be small self improvements or big self improvements. You should be rewarding yourself along the way. So when you've done something that's achievement, you're like, oh my God, I've achieved that. And by rewarding yourself, you're actually taking a mental note of the fact you've succeeded in doing that thing. You've accomplished it and achieved something that maybe you felt you couldn't do, or you haven't been able to do for a long time. And by rewarding yourself, you're praising yourself. This is part of self-love. And this is part of self-improvement in and of itself, because you need to be able to say to yourself, hey, you've done a good job there. I'm so proud of you. And I'm going to make sure I make a big deal of that thing you've done, so that I can honor you and recognize your achievements and pay you greatest respect and show I love and care about you. Yes, I'm talking to you, yourself. This is so important, right? Especially if we didn't get much praise in our past and childhood or anything like that, or maybe our teachers were hard on us, this type of thing. It's very important to acknowledge what we have achieved and go out. I self-date every week as well, as part of my self-love routine. Now, self-dating is different to just going out on your own. Self-dating is a conscious act where you've scheduled time in with yourself every week, or a regular. I do it every week, to make sure that you show up for yourself and do something you enjoy that takes you out of your normal other routine. It's an actual date with yourself. So it's planned, it's scheduled, it's saying, I'm actually going to this thing. So it's different from saying, oh, I'm just in the city and I need to eat something, so I'm going to a sandwich shop. That's not the same. A date is when you're consciously saying, I'm going to go there for a date with myself. And you make sure you turn up to it, even if you're not feeling that well. Even if you are, you know, feeling tired or exhausted, even if you haven't had much sleep, you're like, I'm going. Why? Because I show up for myself. By showing up for yourself, you increase your belief in yourself, your confidence in yourself, and you increase your self-worth and self-esteem. You increase your decision-making capabilities. So you can probably hear people laughing in the background. This is like the student accommodation opposite where I live, and I can't stop them from yelling and screaming and laughing out loud. So sorry about the disturbance. It's got nothing to do with me. But this is what I have to put up with at the moment, being here. So I have no problem with people having fun, but you know, it's like really shouting loudly, so it's hard to stream. But one of the things is that when I move, I shouldn't have this going on. So that'll be an improvement in my life, which will be good. And yeah, reward yourself. Like I said, take notice of when you do something good, praise yourself and love yourself. Make sure you do put self-dating in your life as well. This is a conscious act of doing something for yourself that's planned and scheduled, and usually regular as well. This should be as important as if you had a date with a person for a relationship, for example. You're enhancing the relationship with yourself. Dress up for it, put your favorite clothes on, even if it's comfy clothes. When I say dress up, some people like wearing comfy clothes outdoors because it makes them feel great. They like wearing sporty gear or whatever. So put your clothes that make you feel the best and chill out with yourself. Give yourself that time. Feels so good. And I want to say thank you so much for being here, because even if you've just tuned in to this, I know you're a person who's looking to self-improve, and just by hearing all this knowledge of what to do in this video, you are in fact self-improving, because you're learning things that you probably didn't know before. I expect you may know some of it, but you might not know all of it, right? And so by just taking any of the things I said, such as the mirror technique, for example, you can improve your life. You can improve your self-awareness and improve your self-improvement by watching videos that give you different knowledge that you didn't know before. You are, in fact, in this moment, improving yourself and improving your life, because you're like, wow, I've got information in my brain now I didn't have before. So I want to honor you and say thank you for being here, and thank you for giving time to yourself and self-improvement, and thank you for just being you. I think it's very important. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to everyone who's been in chat today, including Bruno. And oh yeah, Bruno's been the one in the actual chat messages, but I know there's been people watching, so other people watching. So thank you so much for watching, and thanks for the thumbs up. Don't forget, give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode, so you can help improve your asexual life, or whatever sexuality you are is welcome on this channel. As long as you're respectful, that's great. And I do a lot of these live streams regularly to help improve your knowledge in dating, relationships, self-confidence, self-love, self-care, and self-improvement. So if that's your thing, please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode, and go and grab a copy of my best-selling asexual books. That's Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 life lessons to ace your life, 78 that is, for self-improvement. Very good. Go and grab a copy of that on Amazon. And also Asexual Perspectives, 47 asexual stories, love, life and sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. These are 2 bestsellers. They are both available on Amazon now. You can grab your copy. And if you're into self-improvement, Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, how to manage fibromyalgia to have less pain, more energy, and feel happy like a superhero rock star. And so this teaches you how to manage pain in up to 25 aspects of your life, most of which apply even if you don't have fibromyalgia, because it's like a personal development book in disguise. And there is me wearing my Ace Fibro Girl outfit. Can you see that? So yeah, I strongly recommend getting that one as well, because you will find things that can help improve yourself and improve your life in it, even if you don't have fibro. So yeah, go and grab those on Amazon, and I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of stuff. Thank you for watching, and stay ace. Bye.